Welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we'll be transforming a 1920s French box bob into a textured pixie using the dry cutting method with scissors and refining the fringe and face framing with a feather razor. We start the haircut in the side zone. We're going to take our guide from the back section, maintaining this length through to the front. It's important for your body position to be standing flat or square to your section. I'm now placing my scissor behind my comb, helping to guide my section straight out. Here is my guide. I allow my guide to have a centimeter or two just to be able to keep it in the comb. I'm now using the points of my scissor. I'm using a 7.5 inch scissor because it has more strength and will help a lot with point cutting. Once we've cut this section, we clip this section up out of the way. Now we take our second section, working down the head shape. I take my scissors and I elevate my section into my comb. Using my scissors to help guide the hair out, I find my guide. I make sure I'm maintaining a 90-degree elevation, being flat, square to the ceiling. Making sure my body position is in front of my section and I can clearly see my guide. I now point cut. We now clip this section up out of the way. Now we repeat the same process with the remainder of the hair. I'm allowing the hair in the front hairline to fall out so we can use our feather razor to accentuate the front. Now we take our sectioning clips out and assess the shape. It should resemble a flat, square shape that's going to modernize the flatness throughout this shape, maintaining length in the top. You can see the roundness in the opposite side, and now we can see the example of more of a square, flatter shape. We now repeat the same process on the opposite side. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. So you'll really notice the power of the square layer and how much it flattens out a shape by simply reducing that weight. To modernize the back a little bit, I've decided that maybe to flatten out the nape area, I might just work with a fine few sections just to take the roundness out of this back section. This will help the haircut to grow out without creating volume in this back section, and it will make it look a little bit more snatched, modern and young. All we're going to do is to take horizontal sections starting around the occipital bone. I'm using my comb to work through the hair, and I'm just point cutting to reduce the weight with the roundness of the skull shape. This is a very simple process, but extremely effective in modernizing a shape. It will also help to accentuate roundness in the crown, creating more height and body, which is essential for people that really lack volume and are concerned about the volume in their crown. This cutting method is amazing for wavy, curly, and textured hair. And as you can see, we can clearly see the shape we're creating as we're cutting. And we're cutting it in its natural texture and in its natural fall, creating an amazing wash and wear haircut that enhances the natural texture. So you can now see how that subtly flattened out the occipital nape zone, creating a flatter and more modern shape. So now in the top zone, connecting the crown into the top, I'm going to take parallel sections, elevating the hair up, increasing the length as we work closer towards the front. Using the same method again and point cutting and reducing the bulk. I'm going to do this with 3 large sections. I start with the center profile section, using my comb to guide my hair up with my scissors. I clearly see my guide from the back zone, and I'm going to gently remove all of this bulk by point cutting. To cross-check this top zone, I'm going to take horizontal sections and point cut deeply to create even more texture and weight. This will help to create a versatile shape if your model wants to wear their hair down or if they want to wear it textured and up. When refining haircuts, use this time to cross-check and make sure your haircut's balanced. So now we can assess the texture and movement in the shape. It's important when you finish each zone to stand back, use your mirror, and assess the shape that you've cut. We now move on to the fringe and the face framing zone. I'm going to be cutting the fringe and face frame with a feather razor. I'm just going to dampen this zone. It's going to zone out my fringe from the top of the head shape, where the skull curves, down to the recession on both sides. Working all the way through to the recession will create a wide fringe. I'm going to take my first section, approximately the width of my comb. I'm going to take a circular section following the head shape. And take my first section, maintaining tension with your fingers. We now gently, the second section now is directed across to the first section. This will increase length working to the side of the head shape. We now direct this across. Be sure to comb out your fringe and to see the work that's being established as you work. We now take our last section and we direct it across. Utilizing the previous sections as my guide, I elevate this section out. I now assess the shape that's been created. I've decided, because of how short her fringe was, I'm going to remove this corner, and I'm going to follow the head shape by directing straight up and out, using my feather razor to work gently forward and back. So this is our first half of our section. We repeat the same process on the opposite side. This is our first section and our guide for our fringe zone. We now take the parallel section across the fringe for our second section. In this section, to create more texture and movement, we're going to work from standing behind our model, elevating our fringe straight up. We look to see for our guide, and we use our feather razor to remove the weight, pressing back. Following the head shape, continue to work from behind. I'm basically using the razor and I'm pressing it onto my thumb and doing this process to remove the hair. A beautiful textured fringe. We now take our last section and see if this section falls over and creates a nice little undercut with our previous sections, because these longer sections can work in our favor, creating a really beautiful shape. So in this situation, I'm going to work visually by just removing weight, but keeping longer strands to create more texture, directing the hair straight out. As you can see, this has created a really beautiful textured micro bang. If you watched the previous tutorial, the 1920s French bob, I show you how to cut a precision fringe with texture using disconnection and elevation. If you check the card above, you can watch it there. In this side zone, I want to maintain length in this corner, but I want it to connect beautifully from the micro bangs into that corner. So I'm going to use an over direction technique, over directing each section up to a stationary guide that will then increase the length, working down the head shape. We now repeat the same process on the opposite side. So I'm just going to dry the hair into natural fall, and then I'm going to use the small precision scissor to come through and refine to complete the haircut. When preparing the hair for the refining process, just wrap the hair and dry it around the head shape, allowing it to fall into natural fall before refining. There's a long the hairline here, just making sure everything flows through the way I want to see it. I'm going to elevate my client's head over. This helps to maintain weight in the perimeter, making sure I don't remove too much weight in this zone. You can either place your comb to hold the hair into place or hold your finger. I'm going to use my comb. Keep in mind we want to maintain maximum weight in this area. So in this zone, I start with the gentle point cutting method. This is going to help to remove bulk and reduce weight. In this zone, it's important to check where the hairline is sitting so you don't cut into the recession. But here, I'm going to work a lot tighter, connecting the bangs into this point here. So I'm gently just going to point cut a circular line coming through from the face framing into the front bang. And now come back through this section and remove more bulk, adding more space. If you feel like you need to remove more, come back and point cut. You can see in this zone, by creating space here, really does help to accentuate the eye and the cheek. In this zone here, behind the ear, I place my finger down to guide my scissor, and I gently come through here to remove extra bulk. And now over direct the back hairline and connect the hair from this zone into the back near the mastoid process. Client's head straight up and assess the shape to make sure that there's a fluidity running from the fringe and bang zone into the face framing zone, up, back to the mastoid process. So here clearly you can see the difference between this snatched look and open eye compared to the opposite side. We now repeat the same process on the opposite side. So far we've now connected in from our mastoid process into the front corner of our haircut. We've maintained length in around our cheekbones and opened up this zone here, opening up the eye socket, connecting into our bangs into both sides. Restyle this hair with the diffuser, enhancing the natural texture, and I'm going to work with creating a chic little French textured pixie. This is my textured pixie haircut. If you liked this tutorial, go ahead and smash the like and subscribe icons. Thanks again for watching, and if you loved this tutorial, you're gonna love this one too.